Hello, it's Vicky. Welcome back to Bell Book and Candle. Today I have built a haunted house residential. It's a new lot type that came with the paranormal stuff pack, and I wanted to do something a little bit different than what I normally do and what I've seen so far, and I wanted to make something that looked like a Second Empire home. In order to do this, I put in a mansard roof, which is a little bit difficult because I intentionally made this build very small. This is a very mini home. I in fact wanted it to be a tiny home, but I didn't realize that haunted houses have their own lots. So I opted for the haunted house lot the haunted house residential instead of doing a tiny home. Let me tell you, this home is small in spirit. I wanted the home to be a little bit more of an antique or older style home. I have to say, I know everyone is really excited about the build by items that came with paranormal stuff, but I really do want more good looking antique furniture. I ended up using a lot of stuff from vampires in this pack, as well as Get Together. I think that Get Together has really good kind of traditional or older looking furniture, as does vampires. And I get what they were trying to do with the bohemian style of furniture from, I guess, what would be the 20s. Back then, everyone had an obsession with like paranormal things and going to seances, and I mean, we've all seen our fair share of Penny Dreadful 30 or 40 times. Or is that just me? So like, I get why they put that in there, but I don't know. I just want more nice classic looking things from like older looking builds. Also, you may have noticed I have a bunch of lights outside the build right now. I built this in the vampire world, what's it called? Forgotten Hollow. Forgotten Hollow looks really pretty to play in, but it's terrible to actually build in because it's so dark and weird looking. So I thought if I put in giant lights, I would help myself out, but I didn't. So I ended up getting rid of them. I built this house in like 2 stages. So I had forgotten that when I built the shell that I put these out here. So when I was editing the video, I was like, what the fuck is all this? And I realized like, oh yeah, this is my pathetic attempt at making it well lit. Behind our spooky Second Empire house, we have a maze. There's something inherently spooky about mazes to me. I've never been through one in real life, but I'm really bad with directions, and I'm also really short, so I couldn't probably see over hedges. So just mazes in general just spell out trouble for me, and I thought I'd include it in here because I feel like it'd be like a nice touch. The maze itself isn't that difficult to get through because I myself would not have been able to figure out how to make a difficult maze. It's really more just for aesthetics. The goal of the maze is to get to a nice fountain. I think the fountain is possibly from Romantic Garden stuff. I could be wrong. I really should have checked that before doing the voiceover, but whatever. As usual, I found the landscaping to be pretty difficult to do. It's just not something that I pay attention to or know how to do well. I built this in winter by accident, so I don't even know how all this stuff looks, but also a lot of it is the vampire pack, so it might just look this dead in general. So I'm like, okay, well, what you see is what you get. Here, I'm putting up these vampire roof vents on the pillars, I don't know what it's called. Already we are in our tiny kitchen, which I had to finagle quite a bit. I didn't leave myself enough room to give myself a railroad kitchen? What's it called? Those long kitchens, you know, on either side. I don't know if this stuff works, I'm gonna be honest. I build a lot and I don't playtest things, and then when I do, I realize that fridges are really weird and sometimes putting ovens across them makes it unusable. I don't know. Putting in a lot of stuff from the vampire pack. These are the vampire's upper cabinets, and I think the lower counters are Realm of Magic. I also realized that I put the cabinets too low, so I do raise them up. And then I decide I want to change the color scheme to be very muted and green and yellow, I guess, or rusted, something close to that. After I put in the little base game curtain is when I realize and I shift everything up. Or, oh, maybe I'm lying. Oh, there we go. It's when I put in the bread box that I realize it's way too close down. Once all the actual essentials are in, I start putting in clutter. We've got our little antique teapot, which kind of doesn't make sense on the stove there, but it's the closest that we have to a tea set that would look normal on the stove. There's actually a golden tea set on a platter, but I wouldn't put a platter on a stove. And we put in the spices. I did shrink them down because I didn't want them to look so bulbous in the small kitchen. I also really like the Realm of Magic. I guess, is that a scale? I like the Realm of Magic scale for these little antique builds. And I put pots and pans above the fridge, though I kind of regret it because the pots and pans, I put them a little bit too low, so it looks quite odd in the fridge, but whatever, you win some, you lose some when it comes to building The Sims, right? And I put in a beaded curtain because the paranormal stuff came with curtains that have like little beads in the back, and I wanted it to look like it was together, I guess. After the kitchen, we've moved on to the bedroom. There's only one bedroom in this house, so they get to have the top floor. It comes with a chandelier, a fireplace. There's a corner in the back where I put a vanity, which I'll show later. The fireplace from the paranormal stuff pack seems very out of place, I think. I think from the front it looks okay, but from the sides you can see that there's bookshelving, which one looks extremely cool, but for this area it's a little bit off, I think. So hopefully the grandfather clock hides it. Across from the fireplace goes a chair that's unlockable and a little Simsy plant. And I end up layering the paranormal stuff curtains with I think a base game curtain. Oh, and there I go, moving the grandfather clock. I put it across from the bed along with a nightstand and a small mirror. Oh, and a plant. Gotta have plants. And here is where I put in the vanity. The vanity is from Vintage Glamour. I love it so much. I put it in as many builds as I could fit it into also because I think it's a nice waste of space. I like things that are a waste of space sometimes. The little pan, nope, that's not what it's called. The tray on the left side is from Parenthood, and that weaving thing on the right side is from Knit Stuff or something? The Nifty Knitting, whatever that pack is called. And here I am moving the vanity because the way the room is shaped at this end doesn't make much sense, and I felt like this way it had more space. Afterwards, I put down a lamp and raise it up to put over the railing, and that lamp is also from Get Together. I then decided to open up the wall over here because I felt like it was too dark. I was gonna put in a window or something, but I couldn't find one that I liked, so I decided to just bring the walls down. And then I think the last thing I do in this room is put in a painting over the doorway, which is also from Get Together, which, yeah, you know, has really great stuff for old ass looking houses. And here we are in the living room, putting in a different fireplace, one that I don't normally use. And I opted to try the new couch because why not? The color scheme was a little bit of a trip. As you see, I'm going through it, trying out different things. I settled for a blue? That's not blue. Okay, so it turns out I don't know what the fuck I was thinking because I went for a blue and yellow couch and then decided, okay, fuck that, and decided to put in teal, everything else. Teal and gold, everything else. But both combinations do look good, so I can't be too mad. Oh, here I'm making, I originally set out to make a bar cart. That's why I pulled out all of those bottles. I'm stumbling over my words, I'm so sorry. That's why I pulled out all of those bottles. I'm not editing it out, I'm lazy, I'm tired. And what the fuck was I saying? Oh yeah, I pulled out all those bottles and then I realized I wanted to put a bunch of oddities on the top of the bar cart, so I did that. Then I went for the gallery wall paintings and using the vampire thing of paintings to cover up that spot. I found that I saw someone else do that and I can't remember who did it. They're not going to watch this because like 12 people watch this, but if they do, thank you for the inspiration. Sorry, I can't remember who did it. Here is the dining area, which is just a table and 2 chairs and a picture of me. Except it's not a picture of me, it's the family portrait, but my sim is here, so that's what it is. I don't know how I ended up doing this, but the entryway is like 3 times the size of the living room. And as you can see, I forgot to put in radiators everywhere, so I went and I put them down. And circling back to the entryway, I do change out the chandelier because it's too low, and I do change out the art easel for actual topiary thing. It's to make bonsai trees. I think it's a gardening skill building item. And here I put down the vampire's curtains that are in either blue or teal, who knows. Apparently I can't tell the difference between my colors anymore, or maybe I never could, I don't know. And this little pirate ship, which is Space Game, I think? I'm guessing, I don't know. Oh, that's not even a pirate ship, that's a galleon ship. Whatever, you get what I'm saying. And I put in a Discover University chair because I feel it looks not modern, antique. How many times am I going to say the word antique in this speed build? Whatever. And now we move to the secret room. It's not really secret, it's it's a very obvious ladder in the bedroom, but it's in the attic and it's the spookiest part of the house because it's where we have our medium table. That's not what it's called. The seance table, that's what it's called. I also would have never thought to use those fancy hippie candles, but I saw them do it in the trailer, so then I wanted to do it too. I also go to debug and I add in all the candles that like Sims can create themselves. They will melt down if you use them, but I thought they look cool. This tapestry on the wall is from vampires, and then I end up putting a bunch of mirrors on the wall because mirrors are also inherently spooky, just like mazes, and they deserve to be in the room where you're going to be doing seances. Then I covered up the weird, I don't think it's a glitch, but I think maybe I just don't know how to build. But I cover up the weird, sorry, I shouldn't be so critical of myself, but I cover up the weird edges with those 2 pillars and add that little hand that's also from paranormal stuff, as well as these books that are also unlockable. I think it's from the writing career, but I could be wrong. And I put the holiday stuff up there because, I mean, it's a attic. I guess that's also where you would put your leftover holiday decorations. I don't know, it's just storage. Then I move back downstairs and I add some more foliage around because, you know, oh my god, I'm sorry if you can hear these car noises. Anyway, I add in, not foliage, plants. I add in plants because, you know, the Victorians, they liked plants. And I don't know if the Second Empire was during the Victorian era. The houses look similar, so I'm just gonna guess that they are. And so this house gets some greenery as well. All my houses get greenery because I love plants. Plants don't love me and they will die. That's the cycle of life. So where was I going with that? I don't know. Anyway, we're back outside. And speaking of plants, I put in some of the vampires' pine trees around. This build is kind of like really large and I needed to fill the space. And the pine trees do a swell job of doing that. And I also, oh, and those vines are from the vampire stuff pack as well. Very, very, you know, what am I trying to say? It comes in handy. That's what I'm trying to say. And I also use the terrain tools to kind of raise it up because I think, what am I thinking? I think I forget to use terrain tools in most of my builds and I want some kind of intrigue and interest. So I just like mush everything up a bit. Oh, and there's my cue. Anyway, please enjoy the screenshots and thanks for watching.